Charleston County's Criminal Justice Coordinating Council released its annual report today.
It shows trends of decreasing crime rates, a shrinking court backlog, and rising jail population.
Live 5's investigative reporter Emily Johnson joins us now after looking through that report and gives us a deeper look into the Lowcountry's criminal justice system. So Emily, what do these numbers show us?
And this report really gives us a deeper look into the crimes taking place here in Charleston County with data from the court system, jail, and law enforcement agencies. Reported crime was down in Charleston compared to years before, with driving under the influence being the most frequent charge. Trespassing and shoplifting followed in second and third places. The average daily jail population at the Alcannon Detention Center is higher than ever before, with a 57% booking increase since 2021. And inmates inside the jail are staying there longer at a 14% increase in 2025. The courts are working to move through the case backlog that Live 5 Investigates reported on last July, which at the time had nearly 8,000 cases that were pending for a year and a half or longer. Now 53% of cases have been pending for over a year, which is an 8% decrease from 2024. Although the average time from being charged to disposition increased by 15 to 21%, which may have to do with that pending backlog. The report does show that the new efforts to help reduce the court backlog may be working as long as new cases don't fall to the wayside. The council says that 6 priorities for the next year include behavioral health, public safety, youth, survivor and victim treatment, community communication, and the court system. To read the full report, visit our website at live5news.com. For Live 5 Investigates, I'm Emily Johnson.